What's happening, my YouTube friends and family? Hope everyone's doing well. If you saw the video where I had my boy in the car, yeah, he's not with me today. It's a little early in the morning. He's at home hugging on the pillow. Anyways, yeah, I'm making a early morning grocery store run to stock up the truck for this week's run. We're heading to Canada. Anyway, working on a series of videos to either confirm or dispel myths and or legends, old wives' tales, whatever you want to call them, that are rampant about the trucking industry. And you know, this one's a doozy. So it's no secret that assets are way overpriced. One analyst believes as much as 3 times its value, which I've seen it. And so this is a component to what they're calling a trucking recession, which is coming. And it's going to be a key component in putting a lot of truckers out of business. So you have trucks out there, and you have YouTubers telling people this is still a good time to get into business, even though you're going to pay $70,000 for a 5 to 7 year old box truck that has 300,000 miles on it. And YouTubers are telling you that this is okay because this truck will last 1 million miles and you will get your money back out of it. You'll get your money's worth out of it. No, you won't. So first of all, a box truck's not going to last you 1 million miles. If you've heard YouTubers say this, comment in the comment section and say, hey bro, cool, show me a million mile box truck. If you can get 1 million miles out of it and you'll recoup your investment based on how many miles, why don't you do a video on a review of a 1 million mile box truck? I want to see the 1 million mile truck, what kind of shape it's in. Is it really suitable for what we're doing? Because the reality, guys, I'm working on another video on it, but a lot of people that are making, you know, the bigger revenues, those revenues are not based on local home every night kind of runs. A lot of these people are running regional or OTR, where they're going cross country. And so regional to me is 500 to 750 miles from home. Depending on where you live, I mean, regional is also 300 to 500. That's probably more regional. I think a bigger number, because in Southern California, if you go from southern to northern, you're 350 miles. And I don't really consider that regional. That's like an intrastate. But I guess it fits. So I'm going to correct myself. Let's just say it's 300 to 500 miles. Nonetheless, 300 to 500 miles, you're probably not going to be home every night. You're going to be out at least on an overnight or a layover, as some call it. And so, are you really going to trust a 1 million mile truck, a 1 million mile box truck, to be exact, to run these miles? Are you going to jump in your 1 million mile box truck, load up in California, and go to Denver, climbing up the hill over there, and then pick up another load from Denver and go to Michigan, and then from Michigan grab a load down to Atlanta, then from Atlanta to Dallas, and then Dallas back to LA? Would you do that with a 1 million mile box truck? I wouldn't. A 1 million mile box truck is a POS. A million mile box truck is falling apart. A 1 million mile box truck is going to be in the shop. It's just what it is. I've been around trucks long enough, and you know, these box truck gurus that, you know, went into business for themselves a year ago and probably haven't even been through their new entrant audit. And if you were to ask them do you have, you know, a wet sleeve block in your box truck, they probably couldn't answer it. If you ask them, do you have a common rail motor or a unitized injector in your box truck, probably couldn't answer that either. If you ask them, your injection system, is it a Huey system, or what do you have? Probably not going to be able to answer that either. A lot of experts don't know what they're talking about, and I'm not trying to put them down. I am explaining this so that you guys understand that paying $70,000 for a truck because you think it's going to give you valuable service, and the thing has 350,000 miles on it, and you're going to get $1 million out of it, it's not going to happen. It's not to say you can't keep it that long and you can't keep it running. Be prepared to do an in-frame, maybe twice by the time you get 1 million miles. Be prepared if you have a real automatic transmission. By real, I mean a hydraulic transmission. So if it's a Ford, you'll have a torque shift. Pretty much everybody else will be running with an Allison. Honestly, Allison's like the name in hydraulic automatic transmissions. Excuse me, I need my caffeine today. I'm running on about 4 hours sleep. So, with that being said, a rebuilt Allison and an in-frame on, let's just say, a Cummins 6.7, which, by the way, even though pickup trucks in those motors in pickup trucks, I can speak, I promise. So those motors in a pickup truck can go 1 million miles, but understand, guys, that the empty weight on like a 2500 series Ram is about 7,800 pounds. And it's this wide where I can touch both windows at the same time. And it's about as tall as I am. And at least my Ram pickup truck would give me 22, 23 miles to the gallon. And that was with all the emission stuff intact. I don't believe in deleting stuff. Not that I don't believe in deleting stuff, I don't do it because I don't want the headaches. So with all the emission stuff, my 3/4 ton, maybe I'll insert a picture or two, my 3/4 ton heavy lifted on 35s. 35s were 14 ply, so they were heavy tires to begin with. I'd get 23 plus out of it. My older 5.9, I could get 25 out of it. But now put that same motor in a box truck where it's now 8.5 foot wide, plus mirrors sticking out. Believe it or not, mirrors create a lot of wind resistance. And now you're 12.5 foot tall, a big old cube you're pushing through the air. That motor's not going to give you 1 million miles worth of service. In fact, if I remember right, the service life per Cummins is about 300,000 miles. So your YouTube expert that tells you it's a 1 million mile truck is wrong. It's not a 1 million mile truck. And you will, before you hit 1 million miles, have to do an in-frame, possibly 2, depending on how heavy you run it, how hard you run it, how well you maintain it, how well the person before you maintained it. That's a key component. Did that person service it regularly? Did they skimp on some of the oil changes? Did they use really crappy oil, or were they running synthetics? All these things come into play. So you're taking a risk, and you're not going to get 1 million miles out of a box truck powertrain. You're going to have to rebuild it, and the rest of the truck will probably need a whole lot of help to get there. Like I say, the transmission will probably need rebuilding once at least, and that doesn't include all the other maintenance stuff that goes with it. And by the time it's said and done, I can tell you guys from working with larger companies, they've learned that running a truck so long, and getting rid of it and buying another new one is cheaper in the long run. You know, driver retention is easier. So if I were trying to interview you, let's just say you and I were sitting down, I'm sitting across the table from you, and you know, you're telling me, hey Miguel, well, I gotta make X amount to feed my family, this is what I want to make, you know, I'm a hustler, I'm a hard worker, I don't mind staying out as long as my family's being fed. And I'm like, sure bro, yeah, I'll pay you 30%, the truck's grossing 9, so this is about what your pay is going to be. And you're like, okay, that's what I need. And then, you know, you ask, hey, so what kind of trucks do I get? Some people are brand loyal. I had a driver that for years would tell me, hey man, you know, I'll come work for you if you put me in a W900. I only had two W900s, and I used them for heavy haul. I didn't use them for my tanker trucks. So he never came to work for me. It just is what it is. But regardless of brand, let's just say I have the brand and it's spec'd out the way you like, and then I show it to you, and it's a 2004 with 790,000 miles on it, and it shows it. It's got leaks, and you start it up and it smells like hot oil, and it smokes, and it moves around like dog meat. You gonna jump in that truck? No, you're not. You're gonna go work for somebody, even if they're gonna put you in a budget rental truck, but it's got 15,000 miles on it. It's a 2022, 2021, and it's modern. It's got air ride suspension. It's got AC that works. It's got comfortable seats. What are you going to drive? You're not going to jump in a 1,000,000-mile truck. And then if you do, and I tell you, well, yeah, you know, the truck can gross 7,500 a week, and I throw you in this thing, and we're in Los Angeles, and I tell you, yeah, there's a load in Fontana, go grab it. It's going to Dallas. It's light, so you shouldn't struggle. And you call me from Phoenix, and it's 113, and the AC just failed. Miguel, my AC doesn't work. I'm dying here. All right, well, pull into a dealership, or keep going so you can make your money. Your choice, because if you stop, there's no money to be made. We got to wait for the truck to get fixed, and parts are hard to come by right now. That's the other component. Parts are hard to come by right now. So you're going to park that truck, not make money, and wait for it to get fixed, and parts are hard to come by. It's an old 1,000,000-mile truck. 1,000,000-mile truck, guys, don't let that phrase influence and convince you that you can pay $70,000 for a 5 or a 7-year-old truck and still be okay. A 7 model year old truck has really been in use 8 model years, okay? Right now, if you're taking delivery on a brand new truck, whether it's a semi truck or whether it's a box truck, you're taking delivery of 2023s right now. Why is that? The trucking industry learned long ago that the truck manufacturers, that trucking companies sometimes get contracts, for example, with FedEx. FedEx only allows you to have 5 model year old trucks. Really common question people ask on the Facebook groups is, how old can your power units be to get Amazon power only load? Amazon doesn't care. Amazon wants cheap. They don't care if you've got a 2022 Peterbilt that you paid $500,000 for, or if you have, you know, a 1980 Freightliner that you paid $5,000 for. They don't care. As long as you get the job done and your score is good, to them it's all good. And so you cannot consider that the model year on the truck says it's 5 years old. It's probably a 6-year-old truck, because most manufacturers start in mid to late February, fabricating the next model year truck. And they also do this because sometimes the trucks that get bought for flooring, in other words, it's going to sit at the dealer's lot, those trucks typically, when they get ordered and they're not already sold, they can sit for a year. So if in February of 2022 you fabricate a 2022, when 2023 rolls around, now all of a sudden when Joe Buyer walks in and sees that old truck sitting there, you know, it's last year's model, I'm expecting a bigger discount because it's last year's model. Now the dealership has a 2023 that can sit there all year, and you're still telling your client, look, it's 2022. You're going to be rocking a 2023. Look at you. And then when it rolls over into next year, you have all of 2023 to sell it. And you don't hit that leverage that your buyer will have until 2024. Then he can say, oh, well, you know, obviously you're hurting to sell it. And then they'll give you this malarkey of, well, this was part of a large fleet order for one of our national accounts. They ordered 40 of these things, and they decided not to take all of them. So we're lucky we're able to spread these out across the country, and you get to benefit from it. That's just the line they'll give you. In reality, they ordered it for flooring. That's what they call it when you buy something so you can have it on the showroom floor. And in some cases, the manufacturers even offer a finance incentive for the dealership. In other words, they give them low interest floor model plans for the dealership to hold it. Basically, they lose a little discount. Anyway, I tell you this because I was a dealer. I was a trailer manufacturer dealer. They call it flooring. Anyway, so when you look at a truck that's 7 model years old, it's actually 8 years old in use. And when you look at the miles and you say it's 300,000, guys, it's a $17,000 truck. Today's market, because everyone's trying to jump in, and supply chain issues have made it where they're selling for 70,000, and that's fine and dandy for someone that has solid work already. If you have a contract and you're moving 5 or 6 trucks and you need, you know, 1 additional truck, but you know you have the work and you know you can make the payment, or even better, you can go in there and buy cash, you know, you don't run the risk of having the truck repossessed where you're upside down on it. And that's the biggest problem with overpaying for these things. You're upside down in a really, really bad way. So your $70,000 truck, you know, 8 years ago, the market was cheaper, even on new. That truck probably sold brand new for $80,000. That truck is now a $15,000 to $20,000 truck. Depending on powertrain options, maybe someone ordered it with a bigger engine and, you know, an Eaton 9-speed or something, and it truly has a over-the-road powertrain, might be worth a little more. But this thing that YouTubers are telling you that they're million-mile trucks, show me a video where someone has reviewed a million-mile box truck. I've searched it. I can't find one. I've seen trucks that are in the high 100,000s that are box trucks, and they're garbage, especially if they've been running in the Midwest, which is where everyone wants to go. That's over the road because that's where the better rates are. Put 1 million miles on a truck and let that salt eat away at the chassis. Tell me you want to buy that truck. You don't. So when people get up on YouTube and they're telling you it's okay to go pay $50,000 to $70,000 for a 2015 with 300,000 miles on it, don't do it. Don't spend your money on that. You're better off renting a truck. And I'm not a big believer in renting. You're better off renting a truck. You get a brand new truck and you get rid of it and you get another brand new truck. And if your work slows down, you're not in debt, you go turn the thing back in, and when you see work is good again, you go rent another one, and you're still a viable business. Anyways, like I say, I'm working on a series of videos dispelling, you know, some of the propaganda, some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Embellishments, old wives' tales, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of them out there. And I'm not trying to like point fingers at any given YouTubers. In some cases, they just don't know because they don't know. They haven't been at this. They jumped in when things were peaking and they think this is a great business. But the same way it lures people in, it chews them up and spits them right back out. By this time next year, I guarantee you, a whole bunch of content creators aren't going to even be trucking anymore. Or they're going to diversify into something else. They're going to move into brokerage. They're going to move into dispatch. They're going to do something other than trucking, because trucking is about to get really ugly. And you'll see it. You'll see it. It's gonna make itself relevant. Anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching. The store just opened. It's 6 a.m. and I hate standing in line, so I shop early. Thanks for watching.